So you got this second call-up to the national team, second call-up. What's been the conversations with Pochettino and his folks as far as sort of like what the meaningfulness, what this means?
Well, I've expressed how, my gratitude towards receiving a call-up. They don't come very often in your career, and so, when I got there initially, I expressed my gratitude, and I told him I wasn't going to take this opportunity for granted, and he expressed to be myself in camp, to show my energy, be aggressive on the field, and I felt that I had a positive experience with the national team, and now I have another opportunity to add another layer to that. Whether I play or not, I'm gonna be there and be ready when my name is called, and that's the attitude and mentality that I have to have with Pochettino as coach.
When you were in the national team during the last stint, even going back to the World Cup, it wasn't necessarily that you were playing a ton of minutes, but you clearly fit in with the team. You were popular among your teammates. Are you sensing that some of those positive vibes have carried through, even though it's a somewhat different group?
Yeah, it's a somewhat different group, but it's a lot of the same faces, right? That went to the World Cup, and so I've always had a really good relationship with some of the players on the national team, and I still kept in contact with them. And when I got there, it was like nothing happened, right? It was as if I didn't have a 2-year absence, and that's what you want. I think you want to be welcomed. You want to feel like you can be comfortable, be yourself, share what you can bring on the field, and so it was a positive experience in terms of on the field, but definitely off the field. I'm a guy that wants to get guys' personalities out. I want the energy to be good, and again, if I'm playing great, I'm going to have the same attitude. But I think there's value in players going there and still keeping the mentality, the training habits extremely high, and also just a good environment altogether.
Cristian, it feels like during that last 2 friendlies you were in, you really fit the role from the outside looking in of what the system that Pochettino wants out of that midfield. Did it feel like that for you in those 2 friendlies?
Yeah, he loves aggressive players, right? And that's part of my game. That's something that I've brought out, especially this year, with my aggressiveness to press, to back press, to tackle, to keep a high line, high pressure, the organization piece. That all applies to how Pochettino wants to play, and I feel like I fit the right characteristics that he wants in a player. But again, I could think that, but I got to show it, and that's always the mentality going into camp.
Pochettino's taking a lot of heat for calling MLS players and not just the European players. From your stance, what do you feel like is important about just getting players regardless of where they're playing, and more about their form and minutes and just trajectory maybe even?
Yeah, I think it's important to call in guys that are playing at a high level altogether. It shouldn't matter really where you play, as long as you can show that when you're at camp and sustain that level. I think that we put ourselves in a good spot. This league, MLS in general, has grown so much, and we have really good players in this league, and I think that we have a good future just in general, whether we have guys coming from Europe or MLS. So obviously biased, and I'm an MLS player, but I don't see what's wrong with that. I believe that the best players should be going into camp, and the right mold, also the team aspect, right? You need the players that gel well together, and that's obviously an important piece to that.
So every coach has a different styles of training. So what do you think is the strength of Pochettino? And also if that strength or that style of training is gonna help the national team to get a new style or a different style of playing?
Yeah, intensity, right? That's always the most important thing when you go into camp, right? Intensity in the way you want to play, right? Playing balls forward, being a little bit more direct when you can, turning, being brave, pressing harder up the field, getting back into shape. You know, these are things that Pochettino wants. You see it in training every day. I think it applies. He applies that throughout the camp. And then for me, it's a different style. It's a different philosophy. And you know, I've had the luxury of having one and a half coaches in my career with Sounders, but you know, it's also great to be able to see a different perspective, and so I'm happy that I get to see that one more time. And yeah, it's a different style, but I think it also helps me in the long run.
The Timbers are coming to town. I'm sure you guys are aware that it's been a while since you've beaten them at home. What is the conversation around that specifically, or is there any conversation around that specifically?
I think it's more about us, right? I think we've I think the last couple games it kind of show exactly what has gone on with Portland. I think the lack of focus, red cards, just, you know, a lack of intensity at times. So I think it comes down to more about us, right? Can we get back into the rhythm and the form that we had right after Club World Cup? You know, we were bound to have a moment like this, and so how can we get out of it? And this is a great opportunity to do it against Portland.
The team all season long has been able to really show for big time moments, right? The whole season. What's the balance of, yes, this is just another regular season game, but it is a big moment. It feels like a huge game because of kind of the lack of results necessarily that you guys have had, and just the big moment that this could be as a rivalry.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a huge moment in our season. You know, Portland also has 2 games left, and so if we can separate ourselves from them a little bit, it put us in a really good spot. But you're right. I think our team rises to the occasion, and unfortunately, there are times where we play down when the occasion isn't as high, and we have to treat this as a big game, because it is. And so I expect our team to continue to rise for these occasions, but for me, it's about how can we get the team throughout the year to step up when, you know, it's hot out and we're playing Kansas City, and you know, or we're on our 3rd game in a row and we're playing away. And so this is a great opportunity to get back on the horse and put ourselves in a good spot before the playoffs.
Cristian, van a enfrentar a Timbers como ustedes como campeones del Leagues Cup, un trofeo que les hacía falta en su vitrina. ¿Cómo Sounders utiliza este trofeo, este momento para tener un buen partido, y si este partido les puede ayudar para que pueda ser un parteaguas entre los últimos partidos y lo que viene en la postemporada?
Sí, muy importante de tener un buen partido primero. También no hemos tenido un buen partido, 90 minutos en total, enfocados desde el Leagues Cup, y para nosotros es muy importante tener un buen partido en este ficha, porque ahora tenemos 3 partidos que faltan, y entre los playoffs tenemos que poner nosotros en una posición muy alto para que podamos hacer muy bueno en los playoffs.